Hey y'all, what's going on? Running a little late, I know. Oh gosh, I didn't see what time it was, y'all. I didn't even know what time it was. Summer texted me and said, one of my adult children that's at school in Tallahassee texted me, wanted to know if I was doing my show. I looked at the clock. I just looked at it and it was 8:55 and I was getting stuff ready and then it was 9:07. Hey baby, I see you, Summer. But yeah, so that's what's going on. So that's why I'm late for PTSD Wednesday. So tonight I'm going to talk about the 4th of July for us because I know last week when I talked about it, I told you Julian really doesn't do fireworks and we would be sheltering in place like we normally do for 4th of July. And so Friday, hey Kyra. Friday we locked down the house about noon on Friday, and after Julian went and got his hair cut, and the kids left to go out of town for Javier's birthday, and with some other friends, they went and hung out. Hey Ross, and they went and hung out. So it was just me and Christopher and Julian and the kids, Zane and Jonah. So we locked the house down about noon on Friday, and Julian just put his headphones on because there were a lot of fireworks going off on Friday night. And then went to bed, slept with his headphones on. Then got up Saturday and things started early Saturday. It wasn't even dark and they were going off. So about, I guess it's 4:30, 5 o'clock, he put his headphones on Saturday, and he had them on until he went to bed. And when he has his headphones on, he can't even hear anything going on in the house. So if I don't touch him, he doesn't hear me, which is a whole nother issue because Julian doesn't like anyone touching him, especially without him knowing they're going to. So it gets kind of tricky with Zane, trying to get Zane to understand that daddy can't hear him, because Zane, with his expressive language disorder, he doesn't really understand like what Julian or what we're saying sometimes or what is going on exactly. And so it's hard for him because he doesn't understand that daddy can't hear him. He just doesn't get it. Even when we go to Disney and he wears his headphones, it's the same thing. Zane doesn't. Zane just doesn't understand it. So, it makes things difficult in that regard. And then Julian feels bad because he feels like he's not doing what giving Zane what he needs. So then he tries to pull the headphones off his ear on one side, and then, just about that time, there's a noise, and, somebody sets off, um, some type of mortar type firework, and it's a situation, right? Because he hears it. So we were up till, it was a late night. Anyway, then Sunday, they still were doing fireworks Sunday night, and Sunday. So he just, napped when he could and wore his headphones till Monday. On Monday, about 10:30, we went outside for the first time since we locked ourselves in the house on Friday at noon. So we that's what we did. We didn't really cook. We had stuff like corn dog nuggets, a lot of fries in the oven because, Zane likes the straight cut fries. So that's his favorite thing. He loves fries. So we would, sorry guys. So we did that, and then We ate like kindergartners, guys. That's just what happened for real. We ate like children. We ate like broke pole children. We had corn dog nuggets and DiGiorno pizza for dinner, lunch meat for sandwiches, peanut butter jelly. You know them types of things, child. That's how we eat over here, y'all. That's what I like. Child, ain't nothing better than a peanut butter and jelly sandwich at about 1 o'clock in the morning. Ain't nothing better. That is the best party recovery sandwich. If you can wait till you get home, like if somebody could open a overnight, like 11 at night till 3 in the morning, peanut butter and jelly food truck, baby. Oh, child, shoot, and offer you a cup of milk. Ooh. I don't care what y'all say. All you gotta do is have crunchy and creamy Jif and either grape or strawberry jelly. That's it, child. And you could have a whole enterprise. Anyway, but so we eat like that. I done got a little distracted, y'all. So that's what we did. Absolutely nothing. And this was the best 4th of July as far as our choices to help Julian that we've had so far. We made a lot of positive choices and a lot of things that worked out for our benefit. So we have to work more on the headphone thing to help with Zane, right? To help him understand what that means when daddy puts the headphones on and what he needs to do to get dad's attention and how he has to communicate. Like, because Julian can't take the earphones off and on his ear because at any moment, if something goes off and he hears it, it defeats the entire purpose of the headphones, right? So he has to keep them on even when he's sleeping. So what that means is we have to learn how to communicate with him. And that's a trial run, right? Oh yes, Rosalind, we definitely having the best jelly and it would be the best homemade stuff. You understand? Ooh, good stuff. I might sell me some peanut butter and jelly biscuits. Them biscuits I made the other day, Roz. My recipe biscuits. Girl, them things were so good. Ooh, if that would have had peanut butter and jelly. Ooh, God. Let me stop talking for somebody to take my ideas. Yes, I'm on my medication. Y'all know it because I'm thinking. So, anyway, with Zane, we have to figure out the way to teach him to be able to talk to his daddy, communicate with his daddy, because see, daddy could play games with Zane, right? They could still play Candyland when daddy has his earphones on because daddy has the mental capacity to be able to play Candyland with his earphones on. But got that right, Misha. But Zane doesn't understand, right? Because when he says daddy and daddy doesn't answer him, then he thinks that, as any child would, it's not just, no, I'm not even hungry, Summer. I just have good ideas. When my pain level is low, I can think about some stuff. That's all it is. So, my brain works. But I could eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, though. Ooh, shucks. There. Anyway, y'all. So, with Zane, we just have to teach him. So, I took some notes. He didn't go to therapy, PT or OT yesterday because Someone on his, we're waiting on some results from someone on his T-ball team for COVID. So we're waiting to find out those results. So just it just makes sense not to take Zane to therapy right now, right? So um, we I haven't really had a chance to talk about it, but we got to figure out, get Zane where he understands and knows what's going on and is able to communicate. And that takes a lot of trial and run, a lot of trial and tribulations, to be honest, to figure it out. But we will, just like we figured out, how Zane learns his sight words. It's just he has to see the same word like 200 times. But when he get it, he got it. The words he knew, he knows still. So he recognizes certain words even when he sees them in other texts, like when we're reading books and stuff. So that is such a big step for Zane, guys. And anyone that knows, we really struggled with that. So I'll probably talk about that more on Friday. Zane may be my Friday topics for now. But with Julian, when the positive decisions we made, the headphones are definitely the right decision. They definitely work. So I think that maybe if you have a veteran that has some of the same, a combat veteran that has some of the same triggers as Julian's does, like his fireworks. Now, we're not going out there in the fireworks and setting off fireworks, and Julian has on his noise canceling. So I'm not sure that they work in that environment. What I do know is that we were in the house and it worked. I do know that we stood and set up with Zane and Jonah before last year, right before the pandemic. It was in 2019. We went to Disney and we had a spot right by Mickey Mouse and Walt Disney. Y'all know that statue right there by Cinderella's castle. That's where we sat for the 9 o'clock fireworks show. And Julian had on his earphones and he didn't hear anything, and he watched the show, whereas before he would have had to get out of the park. So they did work in that proximity, but it's a whole different, they real fancy Disney, so it may be a little louder if you're right up on it setting it off yourself. But the truth is, the only way we're going to find out is to test run it. But we just have to wait, But we have to figure it out for our family. But we have to make sure Zane always understands, because it just is what has to happen. So that is the thing. If you have a special needs child or a child with any issues, they may have a tougher time understanding the earphones, but they would benefit you. I don't know what kind they are, honestly, guys. I will know next week when I come on. I'll tell you. But and also I want to try it out in different ways, right? So, but next week I will tell you guys. And but they really did help him, those noise canceling earphones. Now, he had to sleep with them on, and he said it was a little uncomfortable with his CPAP, right? So he had to take the earphones off, put on his CPAP. He uses the nose CPAP. It goes over his nose and runs down the face, right? It's like his side of his head or something, like up something, anyway, like that. And he said that was uncomfortable, so he had to take the headphones off and put that under there, and then put the headphones on top. So where the tubing was a little thicker, and so he said that he noticed that, but he still was able to rest some. So that's a good thing, but we made it. But it was so nice to go outside on Monday and be able to be outside and just kind of relax because we like to sit in our carport. Hey, Miss Judy, how are you doing? And but yeah, so it was a pretty good weekend overall. That really worked, not having to go out of the house because then Julian didn't get any triggers from people, or because we don't really do crowds and or groups. He's got to know the guest list. So or either be by the exit or outside the whole time, like when we go out and we go to, everybody knows, like when we go to people's houses, Julian is usually outside. He's usually not inside the house. He stays outside a lot. And or if he's inside, he's always near the door. So there's just different things, that he needs and he requires from his PTSD. And so we accommodate that, right? Because what are the options? This is and sometimes I think people choose to just not be bothered, right? And the problem with the just not to be bothered people are the problem with people saying they just don't want to be bothered or it doesn't affect them. It's not, the problem with that is then you become part of the problem because you don't care enough to be informed, to be able to make a decision, right? Because we honestly have to get to a place where, no, Julian's PTSD is no one else's problem. And it's not really a problem, but it's not a situation for anybody else. It is a situation for those of us that live with him. However, what does become part of the situation for everyone is my husband in public. My husband should not have to be locked in the house or feel like he's being watched or talked about, or because he has on his headphones, or because he doesn't like crowds, or because he wants to sit outside. My husband needs to understand, him and other veterans need to understand that we care enough to make adjustments to help them or their family, right? Because like when we go in a restaurant, I go in and place the reservation, or one of the kids do, and we tell them, look, we need a table, this big of a table by an exit, or in this area where Julian's back can be on a wall. We have to be able to do that. Don't put us in the middle. Just don't do that. Don't put us with people on either side of us, because it's just not going to work. But we have to speak up for him. Julian doesn't. And there have been restaurants and places we have gone where people are very judgy. You get the look of, well, why is it so difficult? Or why can't you just sit at the bar? Especially if it's just Julian and I, right? They want to know. But Julian has had some incidences in restaurants. And we were at a marriage, and it's not even because we were at a marriage retreat years ago in Destin, and we were, not Destin, that's a lie. It was in St. Pete. It was Lover's Key, but we had went down to the, beach area to eat at a restaurant. And they put us in an area where it was a wall, but the wall had like windows, so it could open and close, and it was glass. So there were people all around Julian, but we put Julian on the end against my better judgment. And Julian was like, I'll be okay. We had been out all that day. A lot of people weren't aware of how severe his PTSD is at the time. And so we put him all the way in, as far in as we could. And then I sat next to him. But before we could get our food and eat and get out of there, Julian had a knife under the table and in his hand. And he just, he had a moment. He was so anxious and overwhelmed and uncomfortable. And he could not trust even us sitting there. We had to get him out of there. And So there are certain things and certain requests that we make as his family members because it is better for him. Because there are certain things that we just naturally do or don't do because it's what's better for Julian. Because listen, what's important, this man served this country. He has combat PTSD that affects every area of his life, his quality of life. The very least that we can do is be kind. You know what I'm saying? Like, people can say, oh, well, we don't have that table, or it's going to be 2 hours, right? And we can choose to go somewhere else. I don't want any special treatment. However, the looks, the side remarks about not being able to attend certain things or go certain places, or certain people feel in certain ways. Listen, we live our life in this house to not accommodate Julian, but to make sure Julian has a quality of life that will leave him with a lifetime of memories and joy, not a lifetime of PTSD and the changes that has made on his life because he chose to go protect us. So, and by us, I mean everybody in America and the world, because he was in Iraq and Afghanistan. He wasn't in Baltimore when he had this occurred in his life. So there has to be some kindness, not accommodating, just kindness when it comes to our veterans, and it comes to people that have been in certain situations that have exposed them to things they have no control over. And it's not accommodating, it's kindness, because these people did nothing for this to happen to them. But so, we're over here, things are extra because we live to make sure Julian has a quality of life. Zane has a quality of life because Zane has 4 official diagnoses that affect his behavior and neurodevelopmental stuff. Hey, Toya. Then you have me with a compromised immune system. So all of our children are, they have to deal with the 3 of us in all decisions that are made for our family. So it's not accommodating. It is really just being kind. But the truth is when it comes to our veterans and those like Julian, they deserve, and they have earned at the very least, our kindness, and not feeling like I tell Julian to wear his Wounded Warrior shirts a lot, right? And his hat, because I'm like, then people will know. But how many people in America really understand what Wounded Warriors are, what that group, what that organization is, and what it does? But I'm going to talk about that stuff here because I feel like, one, I don't think even enough veterans understand the benefits, or the organizations understand how to help more veterans. I feel like there's a break in communication, almost like the break in communication with parents and schools. You know what I'm saying? It's detrimental. If there is ever a break in effective communication, it will be detrimental to wherever that communication failed. So we need to make sure that I want to make sure that everyone, not just those that work at the VA, not because there are some people that work at the VA with veterans every day that don't really understand PTSD. And so I hope that my Wednesday nights, I want you guys to share this. I want you guys to just get it out there, because on Wednesday nights and on, I don't know if I'm going to do Fridays or Mondays about Zane. I'll let you guys know on Friday. But I really want to get this out there because we all need to understand how our veterans need help, right? But our veterans need to feel safe to express what they need, right? Anyone who has experienced any type of trauma, if you don't feel safe, you can never work through it. So PTSD is a trauma. So we have to make sure that there is understanding and effective communication on both sides. And I want to be that bridge. That is important to me because of the things my family have faced. The things our children have went through growing up. With both Julian and I suffering PTSD. How it has affected our relationship, right? Our marriage, our friendship. The good and the bad. I'm going to have Julian on here some, y'all. I don't know when exactly because he doesn't, he's a little uncomfortable with pictures and videos and those things. But I'm really trying to get him to come on and talk with us. So we'll see. And I'm definitely going to get the kids on, right, as we progress through this. Kyra and Travis will be here the end of this month. And I think I have one filming live while they're here. So they're definitely going to go on with me. And it's going to be a catch up. Like, we're going to talk about being a new mom, being a new dad, moving to a new house, completing school, both of them getting into their careers and different things. Well, I have sexual PTSD. And I'm going to talk about that in a little more detail. I just have to get it together. But I'm going to talk about that actually while I'm talking about PTSD. I just really want to get out there about Julian right now. I just think that and our vets, I just think that's so important. But and those veterans with combat PTSD. So that covers our veterans and our Vietnam veterans, World War II veterans that are still alive, all the way up to Iraq and Afghanistan veterans. They're all covered, right? And so I think that is part of it. I think that everyone just, in the beginning, lumped PTSD together. But sexual PTSD and combat PTSD are not the same. Some of the triggers may be the same. Like Julian and I, neither one like nobody to come up. Don't surprise me. Just don't do it. Don't nobody like to wake us up. My kids would tell you when they wake me or Julian up, they be ready for a fight. Like they will yell at us from a distance, right? Because they don't want to touch us to wake us up. Because both Julian and I will come up fighting if we get woke up. Some things are similar, but then there are some things that are very, very different. Like crowds don't bother me. They do Julian. Fireworks don't bother me. They do Julian. Babies crying don't bother me, but they do Julian. Kids crying Doesn't bother me, but it does Julian. Certain garments, people wearing certain things are triggers for Julian. Certain smells are triggers for both of us. They're not the same smells, but smells, we both have certain smells that trigger us. For instance, when we had all that sand, that Saharan sand come in, Julian actually had a conversation with a fellow veteran that he was in Iraq with. They actually had a conversation on the phone about they could smell it in the air. For me, there are certain smells that trigger me because they remind me of my mother's husband. So, yeah, there's just different things. It's weird. Like, I don't eat northern beans, right? Because that was his favorite bean. And he used to tell me how much he liked watching me in the kitchen cook them. So I hate them beans. I won't eat them. The sight of them makes me want to vomit. So it's just weird stuff like that when you're dealing with PTSD. Trauma is weird, but we're going to talk about those things. That is what I started this channel for. I kind of got off because 2020, y'all, let me tell y'all something. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but 2020, let me tell you something. 2020 slapped me upside my head 4-5 times. And I keep turning the other cheek because she just keep coming with something new. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to do it the Lord way. Turn the other cheek, right? Turn the other cheek, But Lord, this heifer's whooping my ass. 2020 been something, y'all. So I got distracted with that and COVID and, you know, the racial stuff, injustices that occur in America that some people finally starting to realize it's real. It ain't just a lie. Now, some of it is bull ass. Y'all people been eating Aunt Jemima pancake mix for 30 years. See, I could say I didn't buy it because she always looked like a slave to me. I wasn't buying that stuff. But y'all was eating it up. So look, what we need to talk about is why Breonna Taylor people. Now I understand they executed a warrant, but that woman is dead. What they gonna do about it? Period. Somebody knocked in the wrong door. Whoever where it was and led that, they need to deal with that. It's what it is. But then you got this other stuff that's just too far. I don't want to talk to y'all about this here. What I want to talk about is the real stuff. Let's keep it on what's factual, right? Let's keep focused. What's good, Summer? If this heifer talking about Aunt Jemima pancake mix, I might vote her out the family, y'all. So, but I'm just saying, why now does the picture on there? Because that's the problem. Why now does the picture on there matter? Why are we being distracted from what is really important? And what is really important is people beginning to realize it doesn't matter what color your skin is on the outside. Either you a good egg or a bad egg. And it's just some bad fucking eggs out there. But no, people want to, but the fact that there is a difference is real. I didn't raise you like that. The fact that it is an injustice and what happens and that it's systemic, that is real. But I'm up here trying to figure out why we talk about Aunt Jemima pancake mix. I'm just saying, y'all, no. Let's talk about Breonna Taylor because that's the type of stuff they ain't talking about. Let's talk about all of these people that's disappearing. All of these sisters and brothers and young kids is disappearing and being shot. Let's deal with what's going on in the communities. All the communities. So listen, I know some of y'all lighter skinned folks think that where you live and things are different than what is going on in the hood, right? But listen, y'all talk about the crackheads over here, but what about the pill heads in your house that's stealing the money, stealing the pills out their grandparents' cabinets and selling them at school. Because listen, them pill heads, it ain't a lot of them over here. Because we don't like medication. We do not like medication. We don't have half minorities don't even take their blood pressure medicine now. And y'all, or diabetes medicines. And y'all up here we're thinking we getting the medication. No, baby. We don't do that. It's some, but so the thing is that these problems are everywhere. Why aren't we coming together in the community to take care of each other? But I don't know. It's just what it is. But racism and systemic racism is real. And if you a bigot, I'm going to call you out. Them still staying. But I'm finna get my channel back to what I started it for. And I started my channel to be able to talk to people and help people through the things we in my home have experienced in life. Because God graciously has allowed us as a whole, between our entire blended family, guys, the experience and knowledge and understanding and wisdom is amazing, and we honestly have to use what we've been through, what God graced us to go through. You don't have to add to it or take away from it. Each of our journeys are similar and different. There's always in a group, in a room, there's always people in there that understand you. There's people in there that have true knowledge of where you at or what you've been through. And then there's people in there who have actually lived it, not just book knowledge. They have knowledge and understanding because they didn't stay. See, you gain knowledge. Listen, you understand a situation because you go through it. You gain knowledge about the situation because you come out of it. Because you have to gain knowledge to come out of it in order to face it. Through that, you gain wisdom. But you have to have understanding and knowledge to have wisdom. But people, they want to just, hey, Tracy. They just want to add on and take away. You good enough. And I got to get back to that because that's what this channel was about. So I don't know what it's going to look like coming up, but I'm definitely getting back to what I created this for, and that was to help people. I may ad lib here and there. You guys know how I do. But I really have to make sure I don't lose my focus in the distractions. So I have to use what God's graciously given us. Period. And that's what this is for. So I'm going to go. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. And I will, like I said, please share this. Please go over and subscribe and share my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram. All right. Thank you guys. Good night.